These are marshmallow filled s'more cookies with a graham cracker and chocolate base, topped with a delicious classic buttery chocolate chip cookie. These cookies are the ultimate treat. Perfect for any occasion. They provide a decadent combination of comfort foods. And they're super easy to make, so let's get into it. So the first thing you want to do is grab a medium-sized bowl, ideally of a standing mixer. You're going to grab your room temperature butter and add both your brown and your white sugar. And like any classic cookie recipe, you're going to beat these together until they're nice and creamy. Typically, this takes a few minutes, between 2 to 3 to 4 minutes. And doing this is what allows the cookie to be nice and fluffy, but also kind of crispy on the outside. So you're going to want to do this for just a few minutes until it's nice and creamy and fluffy. If you're using a standing mixer, chances are you're likely going to have to scrape the bottom of the bowl just to make sure that everything is nice and combined and creamed together. And once you've creamed these together for a few minutes, you're going to add in your vanilla and your egg. And you're going to want to beat these together for about a minute. Again, if you're using a standing mixer, chances are you're likely going to have to grab a spatula and scrape the bottom and kind of mix it together. For whatever reason, I seem to struggle to get the egg to incorporate into this dough with the beater attachment, so I often have to grab a spatula and kind of mix it to combine on my own. So once it's nice and combined like this, you're going to add in all of your dry ingredients except for the chocolate chips. So your flour, your baking soda, your baking powder, and your cornstarch. And you're just going to mix these to combine until you get a nice, consistent texture. And it's nice and combined. Once you know that everything is nice and combined and mixed together, you're going to scrape the bottom of your bowl just to make sure everything is well incorporated. And you're going to add in most of your chocolate chips, but do leave some on the side. And we'll use the rest later. And you're going to just mix in your chocolate chips into the cookie dough. So once your chocolate chip cookie dough is done, you're going to grab a scale and you're going to weigh out your cookies. Now you can weigh these out to however many grams you want. Just take into account that the baking time might differ depending on the weight of them. Here to get a nice, pretty big sized cookie, I like to do 100 grams. So I'm just weighing these out to 100 grams each and setting these aside for a minute. Once you're done weighing out your cookies, you're going to grab your graham crackers, your chocolate, and your marshmallows. So you're going to use half a graham cracker for each cookie. If you have Hershey's chocolate, use 2 pieces. Here I'm using Baker's chocolate, so it's a bit thicker, so I'm just using 1 piece per cookie. But if you have Hershey's, use 2 pieces. I also only had the mini marshmallows. I highly recommend using the large ones and just using 1 large marshmallow per cookie. But if you have the small ones, use a heaping tablespoon per cookie. So from here, you're going to grab your individual cookies that you weighed out, and you're going to flatten out the dough a little bit. And then you're going to place your marshmallows in the center and kind of cup it around. Place your chocolate on top of the marshmallows. Grab your graham cracker and place it on top of the chocolate and marshmallows and flip it over. And you're just going to press down gently but firmly the cookie dough into the graham cracker. Just pushing down on the edges and making sure that there's no cracks or holes in the cookie dough. And you're just going to repeat this process for each cookie. So grabbing your graham cracker and your chocolate and your marshmallows, flattening out your cookie dough a little bit and kind of making a little bit of a cup out of it, grabbing your marshmallows and placing those in the center of your cookie dough, kind of cupping the cookie dough around your marshmallows, grabbing your chocolate, and then your graham cracker, and you're going to flip it around and work the cookie dough around the graham cracker's edges and on top of the cookie, just making sure that there's no holes or any cracks anywhere. Making sure it's a unified unit. Now, once all of your cookies are done and formed, you're going to grab the remaining of your chocolate chips and you're going to place them individually on each cookie on top of them. This is what gives the cookie a really nice finish. Have you ever seen those chocolate chip cookies where you can see that the chocolate chips are inside the cookie, but there's none on top? They're still delicious cookies, but they don't look quite as appetizing. Adding the chocolate chips on top of the cookie after they've been formed really elevates the cookie. And once that's done, you're going to place these in the fridge for about 30 minutes. And once they've rested in the fridge, you're going to grab a cookie sheet, place a piece of parchment paper, and lightly grease it. You're going to preheat your oven to 350. And you're going to bake these for anywhere between 13 to 14 minutes, depending on your oven. And everyone's oven is different. So maybe for your first batch, bake 1 or 2 cookies and keep an eye on them and see what works best with your oven. Now, what's important with these cookies is that once they're done baking, you do have to let them sit for a little bit. Because the cookie is so buttery and soft and delicious, it needs time to set. So you're going to let these set for between 10 to 20 minutes and let them cool. And once these have cooled and they have set, they are ready to go. You have the most delicious marshmallow-centered s'more cookies. This recipe makes about 8 large cookies, and they are just perfect for any occasion. With the buttery chocolate chip cookie on top, the melt in your mouth marshmallow in the middle, and that crunch at the bottom with the graham cracker, these are the ultimate cookie. They are a must try. If you like this recipe, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. And let me know in the comments what kind of recipes you want more of.